Emily never thought a single puddle could change her life, but as she stood outside the warm glow of the cafe Tilda copyright soaked, shivering, and covered in mud from her knees to her elbows as she wondered if fate had decided to play a cruel joke on her. This wasn't how blind dates were supposed to go, not when she had spent the last of her savings on a thrift store dress, not when she had promised herself she would finally give happiness a chance, not when she had whispered to her reflection earlier, "Please let today be good," but life didn't listen. Her old bicycle had slipped on a muddy patch 2 blocks away, sending her tumbling straight into a puddle, and now she looked like someone who crawled out of a ditch, not someone showing up for a first date. She almost turned around, almost, but something inside her, maybe stubborn hope, maybe exhaustion, pushed her through the door anyway. A surprising first meeting, inside the cafe Tilda copyright, warmth wrapped around her like a blanket. People laughed over steaming cups, Christmas lights twinkled along the windows, and at a corner table, a man looked up from his coffee. Tall, gentle eyes, tired smile. Daniel, the man she was supposed to meet. His jaw dropped, not in disgust, but in surprise. Emily froze. "Yeah, broken bar. I had an accident outside. I'm so sorry. I didn't want to cancel." She braced herself for rejection, but then a tiny voice piped up beside him. "Dad, your broken bar." She looks like a superhero who fell during landing. Emily blinked. A little girl of maybe 6 years old with curly hair and the brightest smile, peeked at her over the table. Daniel shook his head, suddenly laughing. "Yep, that's exactly what it looks like." A dramatic entrance. Emily's embarrassment melted into breathless disbelief. "No, really? I should go clean up, hey?" But Daniel stood. "Wait, don't leave." His voice was warm, steady. "You showed up. That already says more about you than anything else." Nobody had ever said something like that to her before. The kindness she didn't expect. Daniel guided her to the table. "Sit, please." She hesitated. "I'm going to ruin your evening." "You can't ruin a night that was supposed to be about getting to know someone," he replied. "And you already made the best first impression authentic." His daughter nodded. "Hard and muddy. That's my favorite part." They all laughed, and Emily felt the knot inside her loosen for the first time all day. Soon a server came with napkins, warm towels, and a cup of hot chocolate on the house. "We all slip sometimes," the server said gently. "You're okay." Emily's eyes stung. Slowly, walls began to fall. As she cleaned her hands, Daniel shared how he'd become a single dad at 26 after a complicated divorce. He worked 2 jobs, cooked like a professional, and considered bedtime stories a sacred ritual. Emily opened up to how she grew up in foster care, how every penny mattered, how she often felt like happiness was reserved for other people. Daniel listened, really listened, and every time she looked away in embarrassment, his little girl reached out and touched her hand, as if telling her silently, "You're safe here." The moment that changed everything. Halfway through the evening, another man walked in. A fancy suit, expensive watch, everything polished. He stared at Emily and sneered loudly. "What happened to you? Fall into a dumpster?" Some customers snickered. Emily's heart sank. She recognized him. He was a guy who had rejected her on a previous blind date for not looking expensive enough. Before she could speak, Daniel stepped between them. "That's enough," he said calmly. "You don't get to talk to her that way." The man scoffed. "Why? Who are you to her?" Daniel didn't hesitate. "Someone who sees her worth," he said. "Something you clearly missed." The cafe Tilda copyright grew quiet. The man rolled his eyes and walked away, but the damage could have broken her. Instead, it healed her. Nobody had ever defended her like that. Emily's eyes brimmed with tears. "Why would you do that?" "Because kindness is the bare minimum," Daniel replied softly. "And because my daughter is watching, I want her to grow up learning that love isn't about perfection, it's about compassion." Emily couldn't speak. His words washed over her like sunlight through clouds. What the little girl said next. The little girl tugged Emily's sleeve. "Can I tell you something?" she whispered. "Of course. You're the prettiest person Daddy ever brought on a date," she said matter-of-factly. "Even with mud." Daniel groaned. "Sweetheart, I never brought any of you." Emily laughed. Daniel blushed, and the cafe Tilda copyright felt suddenly smaller, warmer, almost like home. A new beginning. When the night ended, Daniel walked her to the door. "You don't have to say yes," he said softly, "but I'd really like to see you again, preferably after your superhero landing training." Emily laughed. "I'd like that." Then, unexpectedly, the little girl held out a tiny bracelet made of colorful beads. "You can have it," she said shyly. "It's for people I want to keep." Emily's breath caught. She knelt, hugged the little girl, and whispered, "I'll take good care of it." As she walked home, Mia, still muddy, still messy, as she felt lighter than she had in years.